here on Get Up that has massive implications for both the NFL and college football. We talked about this at length on Thursday, and now it is here. The Browns are waiving tight end Dae'Quan Wright, and assuming he clears waivers, he has an agreement in place to play for LSU this season. He is now on the verge of becoming the first player to go from an NFL team to returning to play college football. He played in college for Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss. Lane Kiffin is now at LSU. Dae'Quan Wright now has an agreement in place to go play at LSU. It is happening. We talked about this. We told you it was coming last week. NFL players, there's a ruling that was made by a judge. It's a long, convoluted explanation of how we got here. I won't bore you with the details. The bottom line is Dae'Quan Wright, who since, May, has been working with an NFL team, lining up with and against players in their 20s and 30s, is probably a week from now going to be playing against someone who was in high school last year. How do we feel about it, Dan?
The old man in me doesn't love any part of this, but the floodgates are going to open. This is the first, it will not be the last of this situation. But I can't kill Dae'Quan Wright for going back and getting more money than he might in the NFL and continuing that opportunity. I can't kill Lane Kiffin for taking a player that he thinks is going to help him win. This is what happens when you have severe poor leadership over a long period of time that takes advantage of situations. Players have been the driving force of the income in college football for a long time. We all know that they have not benefited from the revenue that they've generated, and it's just become this wild, wild west of an open can. I don't understand what happens if I am X team and I draft a kid that played college football for 3 years, and I take him in the second round. And after 2 years, he goes, this is not working out for me. I'm going back to play college football. Do I get my pick back? Do I get the money that I've given you back? Because that will happen. That is the next step where a draft pick, it doesn't work out. He goes back to make more money.
We went through this in detail on Thursday. There are any number of ways in which a player in his position probably will make more money in college than he would as an NFL player, and it's guaranteed, and he has the opportunity to then increase his status, his stature, his position, and come back and try again in another year.
Yeah, the college sports situation is, to Dan's point, there's been some certainly poor leadership, but a refusal to accept the truth, and we're still in this situation, that they are a business. And that's the reason why we're in this situation. If at some point they accept that they are a business which has employees, allow those employees to unionize, they can then collectively bargain some sort of constraints on this system. They refuse to do that. I would say that they're putting their head in the sand, but they're not even doing that. They're just trying to hold on to this system for as long as they possibly can. And while they continue to do it, it will continue to get bastardized to the point where we, as old men and young men, are like, this is not what we wanted. And again, it's nothing against Dae'Quan or the players or anyone who's operating within this broken system. It all falls on the fact that the colleges, the college presidents, the NCAA, and the conferences are in a position where they refuse to accept that you guys are playing professional football. And once you do that, then you can figure out how to set some parameters around it and not ask for the U.S. government or anybody else to step in.
Yeah, they denied and fought against the inevitable for a long time and spent no time on, well, how would it work when it ultimately does happen? I'm curious from the NFL side of this, what the league does. Do you have to start factoring in signability when you draft a guy? Yeah. You know, the way you did before the rookie wage scale at the top of the draft. Do you have to start writing rookie contracts differently to prohibit, these kinds of things? This is the kind of thing that now that it's happened will be talked about at owners' meetings and in league offices, and they're going to have to figure out some way to sort of, I don't know whether to say guard against this, but to your point, Dan, protect yourself in terms of, did I spend the pick on this guy and then I don't have him?
I also, just from a fan of college football perspective, I feel like, at what point does this start to turn fans away or people who love college football away? Because I feel like every time I hear about college football nowadays, it has something to do with some injunction, some court case, some ruling. And that was never the case. And I don't know if that's going to start to turn fans away or sour them to it.
After the first kickoff,
I was about to say the same thing.
After the first kickoff,
I don't know.
You're going to be done with it.
My gut feeling, neither of us can prove what we're saying, but we're on the same page.
Yeah.
The moment the ball was kicked off in the first game, the LSU fans, you think they're really worried about this? I mean, they just want their team to win.
The one thing that does jump out to me, and this obviously everyone knows that I'm deeply rooted in union work. It's something I care a lot about, is the idea that these players are worth this amount in college and they're not in the NFL. The idea that you can be a professional athlete and get paid less than the college athletes, to me, exposes the fact that you aren't paying the pros as much as they deserve. But a guy can't be worth $15 million to LSU and worth $800,000 to the Browns. That's wrong also.
But don't you think
the problem would solve itself if the decision was much more obvious.
If
like,
no
you know what?
Yeah.
To get to the top league, I actually get paid more to be in the top league than to be into the lesser
the
league.
NFL has ownership. Like each individual team has an individual owner, where in college football it doesn't.
I have to take a break on this. As usual.